What's going on, everybody? Can y'all hear me? Can everybody hear me? Can y'all hear me? Norma, how you doing? Sister Latasha, what's happening? It's just that laid back music for a Saturday. Just waiting on some more people. Got a couple minutes left. Hope everybody's doing so well today. It's Saturday. It's Saturday. Long week. Very long week. But we got through it. We got through it. Hey, Norma, how you doing?
There's no such thing as a perfect writer. This is why I use Grammarly to check my work.
What's going on, Norma? I'm starting up in a few. Just waiting on some more folks to come on in. Love to share some knowledge with you guys today. Do something a little bit different. Just a little different. Just a little different. But everything else, how's everybody's Saturday going? Write your comments down. Yes, welcome to the live. Yes, welcome to the live. It's what we do here. We get live, If you don't, better ask somebody. So, Brother Terry, how you doing? Welcome to the live. Can y'all hear me? Give me a thumbs up if y'all can hear me. Let me know if y'all hear me. Just waiting on some more people to come on in. Interesting topic tonight. Just going to give you the basics, like a prelude to what we really want to indulge in, right? So, since it's 2 o'clock and that's the time it starts, we want to be in an orderly fashion, right? So let's go. So, ladies and gentlemen who are here, okay, today's topic is going to be on CBD and its relation with sports and athletes. Okay, so today's going to be a little interesting in a sense. You'll hear some good information on what is going on within the sports world, right? So, how many of us know of athletes, and how many of us ever played sports? Leave a comment, let me know, or give me a thumbs up, okay? And speaking from experience, okay, Terry, I see you. And speaking from experience, whenever we get done with a sporting event, and we get these aches and pains and sores in our joints, right? Depending on the sport that you play, right? So if you play baseball, you're going to get a lot of soreness in your arms and in your legs because you're using your legs and your arms a lot, right? In the baseball sense, okay? Or if you get paid. If you get beamed, you're going to hurt wherever you get beamed at, right? Because this happened. Everybody has had that happen, okay? So what happens is when we get done, and like for basketball players, they use their legs a lot because they run up and down the court, right? Hey, Nancy, how you doing? And let's say, basketball players also use their hips, right? Because they got to box out, right? Then they have to use their arms because they have to shoot, but they have to do it in repetitive motions, right? So after the game, they have to soak in ice just like baseball players do, right? Because they're using certain joints and certain muscles of their body that wears out when they're playing, right? So let's go to soccer. Soccer, you use your feet and you use your legs a lot, right? So your muscles tend to break down when you use them in excessive force. And in those sports, we always hear the doctor say, golfers too. You're absolutely right, Chris. Golfers too. They also use their legs. They use their arms. They also use their hips and the hip in a motion sense. Not necessarily there, but Chris knows what I'm talking about. Okay. And whenever you go to the doctor and you say, "Hey doc, I'm in pain right now. I need some pain medicine," right? Well, what do they prescribe us when we tell them we're in pain? They describe us ibuprofen. They prescribe us naproxen. They prescribe us Aleve, over the counter medication, right? Multiple NSAIDs. It's key right there, ladies and gentlemen, right? Sports, CBD. I'm getting there. Trust me, I'm getting there. So in the sports world, us athletes always get told to take NSAIDs, right? And do little people know that there was a study done by the National Vital Statistics Agency, and it reports that NSAIDs are the 15th most leading cause of death in the U.S. Now that mind boggles me, right? Something that's supposed to control and suppress your pain kills you. How does that work, ladies and gentlemen? How does that work? How does something that's supposed to be modified and manufactured to help you, but it kills you? The 15th most causing lead of death in the United States. Guess what? Not even half of that, the number 7th, and we learned this yesterday, diabetes. So you're telling me out of the top 20 NSAIDs that's supposed to help you with your pain, kills you. That's a sad thing, ladies and gentlemen. That's sad, right? So, as an athlete, okay, while using cannabis as a pre-workout supplement, right, a lot of people think that sounds crazy, but it's not uncommon. It's not uncommon for elite athletes to use cannabis as a recovery tool. You heard what I said. They use cannabis as a recovery tool. CBD is an anti-inflammatory. Does that sound familiar to you guys? Because when you go to the doctors, they prescribe you a medication called naproxen, which is also considered an anti-inflammatory. Here's the catch. CBD is naturally made. Naproxen, humanly made, manufactured. There's no natural ingredient in naproxen. So how can it be an anti-inflammatory? If it's chemically made, it's an anti-inflammatory, but we have a product that's naturally made. So moving forward in life. So after an intense workout, right, usually, or a training session, usually your body tends to get tired and sore, and you may even get nauseous depending on the workout that you are doing, right? So, however, that you might not realize, but the NSAID drugs, like I mentioned before, like ibuprofen and Aleve, they're extremely dangerous, folks. They're not your go-tos. Let me tell you, I'm a walking testimony. I used to eat naproxen like they're vitamins. Understand that. And medically, my liver was shot. It almost got to the point where I was not going to look good, right? And that's what kind of opened my eyes on those type of medications, where you have to take them because you have no other idea of where to go, because we're not educating folks that, you know what, we have something better. But here, let me show you why I say what I say, right? So it's easy to go with the norm, especially when you use these medications regularly, like naproxen and Aleve, right? But if deaths come from a toxic effect of death in the United States, it's because of the NSAIDs. NSAIDs. They're actually a toxic to our body. It gives us that euphoria feeling. It gives us that euphoria feeling. Anybody ever had a euphoria feeling? You understand what a euphoria feeling is? Euphoria feeling is when your body's on cloud nine and you feel amazing. But when it comes back down, your body feels like what? Crap. So then what do you have to do? You have to tell your body, you know what? I got to go get another NSAID because I'm still in pain because you still didn't do your job. Let's keep talking. So, therefore, like I said, it's the 15th most common cause of death in the United States. That's sad. That's sad. That's real sad. Okay? So, therefore, athletes that are on CBD are suggesting to stick to a more powerful but less toxic and naturally occurring substance to help you restore your muscle mass and help you restore and calm you down from the pain that you come from when you get sore, right? Athletes, ladies and gentlemen, I posted an article regarding a former major leaguer by the name of David Wells. David Wells was on NSAIDs. He was on painkillers. He was on opiates. You know what helped him to get off of it? Ding ding, CBD. Go look at his interview that I put in the CBD movement and also on my page. It's very, very powerful. And it'll get you to start thinking and really seeing the bigger picture of what these so-called pain medications are doing. And it's actually affecting the athletes as well. It's affecting the athletes as well. You're right, Chris. The former Yankee pitcher, David Wells. Go check that interview out. And he's just not the only athlete, guys. Okay? So, it's crazy, though, because a lot of people, they get the stigma. For example, I read a quote today. I just had a great workout. My head is clear. When you guys work out, your body feels great. Your head is clear. And the last thing that I want to do is get high. There's the misperception there. You hear CBD, a lot of people, 90% of the people in this population now think CBD is going to get you high. This is where the CBD movement comes into play, where we're going to educate you guys and let you guys know CBD does not get you high. THC does. THC is the psychoactive ingredient in the cannabis. But here's the thing. CBD is the healing, the anti-inflammatory agent. Let's just go this far. CBD are the warriors for your body. Think about that for a second, okay? CBD is like Sparta's 300. You got Sparta's 300 in your body killing off all these negativities in your body as ailments, diseases, right? It goes back to the athlete. Hey, put those Spartans in your body. Let them do the work for you. If you're in pain, don't take a chemical that's going to still cause you more pain down the road. Take a natural supplement that's going to ease your pain as minutes and the hours go by, right? So you also got to make sure with talking to athletes, because this is really important to athletes, because athletes have a tendency of pulling muscles, of breaking ankles, of dislocating their knees, tearing the rotator cuff, many things. But like I was speaking on it a couple nights ago, if you, and I'm going to say this in a way to where you guys can understand it, if you lather your body, meaning if you take your CBD supplements in a timely and fashionable way, guess what? You're avoiding injuries happening. So in reality, CBD is a preventative measure for you moving forward, right? Take some adjustment, but guess what? It's a powerful supplement that helps you get your body going, right? So when using cannabis for physical or mental recovery, you'll likely be looking for pain relieving, relaxing, anti-inflammatory strains, right? Right? You hear about the strains and you hear about what type of CBD do I use. Here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Depending on what you do and the sport that you play dictates what type of milligram you want. Obviously, the 300 milligram, it's not good. It's just okay. But for us athletes, The ones that go hardcore into the sport itself, 750 or above, or even the 10x, right? But there's a reason why I'm throwing those out there, because there's a correlation between athletes and this and CBD supplement, right? And a lot of people don't understand that, but it does strengthen your bones as well, as Latasha noticed, and as Terry said, as mentioned. Okay, just to let you know, CBD has a wider scope of therapeutic benefits than any other cannabinoid, and is effective in the smallest doses. That's powerful for athletes, where athletes can take the smallest doses and go out there and play ball, and then come back, go in the ice pool, take another couple doses, and go home and spend time with the family without being in pain. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. Your average athlete, the star of your home team, taking the proper supplements and the proper medications to take to get their body in a restful manner without being pain free. Think about that. That's powerful. That's powerful. Right? So you ask yourself, what are the benefits of CBD for an athlete? Right? And there's quite a couple benefits. All right? Number one is pain. Right? Pain. Cannabis is an analgesic, helping to alleviate pain both during and after the exercise, right? Many athletes, just like one of our Olympians, Ross Ribligliotti, he uses CBD following their workouts to continue managing the pain from achy muscles, right? So Tom Brady can use it, but the question is does he need it? Or will he cheat to get what he has to? Oh, sorry, Pats fans, I had to put that out there, right? So ask yourself, what's another benefit for CBD, right? Another benefit for CBD is inflammation, right? Inflammation in an athlete, you get that a lot, especially football players, right? All that pounding, especially basketball players, all that running, right? So both CBD and THC, but we're focused on CBD, are extremely effective in managing inflammation of post-exercise, right? Because you want to know why? The cannabinoids are potent anti-inflammatory agents, and they exert their effects through induction of apoptosis, inhibition of cell proliferation. Pretty much what that means is they're talking to each other, and now they're ready to go ahead and fight off what they need to fight off, okay? So you got to really think about that, right? Another thing that an athlete needs, that a benefit of athlete, is sleep and relaxation, right? Athletes need sleep and relaxation, right? Especially coming off a double overtime game, or like the Dodgers and the Red Sox last year in the World Series, coming off almost a 7 hour game. Wowzers, right? I'll be tired, right? But guess what? Because they came off a 7 hour game, guess what? Their body is still amped. So they need help in sleeping and relaxing, right? Guess what? CBD is known to have both relaxing and sedative effects on their users, aka the athletes, right? So, in fact, CBD with concentrations of CBN approaching 1% by weight can be useful in treating insomnia, okay? And then getting the required sleep each night is perhaps the most important aspects of being a healthy athlete, right? To be a healthy athlete, you have to get that required sleep. Well, guess what? This helps the athlete to get their required sleep. So guess what? The next day, they can produce like they're supposed to produce, like they're supposed to play for what they're getting paid for, right? So it's really, you're right, it is good for poker players. They're athletes as well, right? They got to be up all night. That's a struggle. That's a struggle. That's a mental struggle. But guess what? They need their relaxation as well, right? They need their relaxation, okay? Now, there's athletes, we'll go with cross trainers and runners, and they have those excruciating workouts where they run forever and then nauseated, right? Or how about athletes that have beach conditioning. I remember me for a fact. I used to pitch. I was a left-hand pitcher, and we would have these mean, I mean these mean beach conditioning workouts. Got not man. When I tell you I was nauseated, I wish I'd known what we know now back then. You know, and so it helps decrease nauseated with athletes who are doing strenuous workouts, right? Because the CBD has many anti-emetic effects. Pretty much helps the athlete reduce the nausea during and after exercise. You know, in fact, many studies have shown that for treating nausea and vomiting, CBD is more effective than older medications such as, guess what? Man-made medications, phenothiazines. Can you say that word twice? Phenothiazines. How about that? That's it. That's amazing. That's amazing, right? Or antihistaminics. You know, antihistaminics to help you with your nausea. Say antihistaminics 1,000 times, right? How about that? And like Nancy says, her son races cars. He hurts a lot after. Hey, every athlete in every sport is in pain after they do what they do. Let's just be realistic, right? Depending on what muscles you're using at the time of you doing what you're doing, right? Another benefit for CBD for athletes is the reduction of muscle spasms. Has anybody had a muscle spasm before? I have. Those hurt. Those hurt. And when I tell you they hurt, boy, let me tell you, I can't even get up. I'm stuck sitting down like, oh man, yo, I need something right now. Give me a beer. Give me a beer right now, right? But here's the thing. The benefits of having CBD will reduce that. It will reduce your muscle spasms. It will reduce muscle spasms because CBD are known to have antispasmodic properties. Antispasmodic is pretty much properties that help reduce the spasming of your muscles. Okay, so you wanna go ahead and understand that athletes, they go through a lot of muscle spasms and think about that, right? Especially in the lower back. You know, even after they play, they still have reoccurring injuries, meaning muscle spasms, Charlie horses. So think about that in the bigger picture as well, right? Another one that we see that help athletes out, because a lot of athletes like to lose weight for certain things, is increasing your appetite, right? Sometimes a boxer may need to increase their weight, right? And how about they're having problems eating? And I'm just throwing it out there as hypothetical. I'm not saying it happens, right? I know boxers that are friends and them mugs can eat, but I'm just saying a boxer, they need to increase their weight, right? So how about that? So CBD is a safe way to stimulate the appetite, right? For example, power lifters, MMA fighters, and other athletes that demand eating regimens, like I said, often find that CBD encourages them to take more calories than they might have otherwise. That's interesting, right? CBD encourages the athlete that does the demanding eating regimen of sports, of like MMA fighters and powerlifters. The CBD encourages the body. The CBD talks to the body. You just got to learn how to listen to it, right? So what that does, it decreases the two key hunger regulating hormones, which are ghrelin and leptin. Those are the two hormones in our body that increase your hunger, is ghrelin and leptin, okay? And pretty much when you do that, when CBD increases those two levels of key hunger regulating hormones, guess what? Goes back to yesterday's show with Mike and his diabetes. It won't alter your insulin levels. So your insulin's not being affected. You see how all this is playing along together? Yesterday, Mike was talking about the diabetes and how certain things and properties in the CBD helps without even altering it, right? Well, guess what? This happens in the sports world too, right? Just because you're an athlete doesn't mean that you're not a human being like everybody else, right? So you might have some certain ailments like that happen. Guess what? CBD helps offset that. That's a blessing, right? And then lastly, the more important thing that I always like to talk about, especially with athletes, is protection of heart, lung, and brain. Your engine, your heart, right? Protection of your heart, lung, and brain. If we can't protect that, we in trouble. And remember, I mentioned it earlier. CBD is like a lathering mechanism of your body. It lathers it lathers your human organs. It lathers your bones, right? So you won't be stiff and you won't be all cold, right? Just like your lips. When your lips get cold and you ain't got no lip balm, they crack, right? They crack, right? Well, guess what? That's like that with your bones and your organs. If you don't take care of them and lather them up like they're supposed to, they're not going to function for you, or they might break on you, right? We don't want that, right? So, in several studies, CBD has been shown to decrease inflammation while offering protection for the heart, lung, and brain during and after injury. Let me repeat that one more time for you guys. In several studies, CBD has been shown to decrease inflammation while offering protection for the heart, lungs, and brain during and after injury. That's amazing, guys. That's amazing. So just imagine if you do this on a repetitive motion on a daily day basis, how ahead of the game you'll be instead of that average person that's not even there yet. You're injury prone free, right? He's not. You're injured. You're not susceptible to injury as fast as the next person that may be susceptible to injury because they're not getting their proper supplements into their body, right? As athletes, you need supplements, okay? So those are some of the benefits that um, that I that I researched regarding CBD and athletes, and it's crazy though because it. I'm gonna throw you guys in another loop right now. Opiates and anti-inflammatory drugs like NSAIDs, those are going around like vitamins to athletes, right? And they're the most common approach to dealing with daily occurrences of pain in pros and amateurs alike. Did you just hear what I just said? I'm going to say it one more time. Opiates and anti inflammatory drugs, like NSAIDs that we talked about earlier, right? They're the most common approach to dealing with daily occurrences of pain in pros and amateurs alike. A common approach, ladies and gentlemen. You know what that means? That's their go to. Wow, that's powerful. These mind altering medications that make you feel so euphoric and take away the pain for 6 hours, are daily regiments of people approaching to get this medication. Let me ask you a question, ladies and gentlemen. Why do you think the doctor prescribes you to take a pill every 3 hours? Maybe even every four. Why do you think the doctor prescribes you to take 5 tablets every 6 hours? Why do you think the doctor has you take one patch every 12 hours? Huh? Why? Want to know why? Because what they're doing is they're feeding your body to have your body attract to those medications so they can live off of that. Well, CBD does the opposite. It's not an addiction, right? But here's the thing. In athletes, that needs to be their go-to. CBD needs to be their go-to. There's facts here. There's facts. Let me give you a point. Here we go. Now, watch this. I'm going to throw something else at you guys. I'm going to throw a curve at you. The NFL and CBD. Oh my. Y'all ready for this? Let's go. So, although the National Football League still tests players for both THC and CBD test for CBD and THC, many expect that policy to change during, guess what? The renegotiation of league contractual terms in 2020. So, the word is getting around so much in the NFL that when they renegotiate their CBD contract or whatever CBD, I'm sorry, y'all know what I'm talking about, right? When they renegotiate their contractual terms in 2020, they're bringing this up. They're bringing this up. And the thing is that many current and former players are struggling with chronic pain, right? Just like Terry mentioned it earlier. Many pro athletes here and then are struggling with pain on a day-to-day basis. Doesn't matter what sport they play in, but guess what? The toll it takes on their body, they are struggling and hurting. And so now what's going on is because they're in chronic pain, now they become opiate deficient. You know what that means? They rely on opiates. Now the question is opiates good or bad? We all know that answer, right? So watch this. Many current and former players are struggling with chronic pain, also with opiate dependency, and the lifelong consequences that come with both. And do we know what the lifelong consequences that come with both? Right. The lifelong consequences. Where your body's going to start shutting down on you. And then your family has to take care of you. Because you were depending on something that was supposed to help you and help with your ailments. The cost of chemical medication in this country is over 395 billion. That's the cost. And it's even going to go further than that because of these new medications that are coming in. But that's another story, right? So, the potential so let's go back to the NFL and CBD, right? Because the topic is athletes. So, this potential change comes in the wake of 1,800 NFL players suing the NFL for violating federal drug laws to keep them playing in the midst of their debilitating pain, irresponsibility distributing controlled substances. Key word, the irresponsibility of distributing controlled substance. Controlled substance. Do we know what controlled substance is? I bet we do. That's for another topic as well, right? So it's no surprise that in a survey of retired NFL players, 71% admitted they had misused painkillers while playing and in retirement used opiates at a rate 3 times higher than the general public. Whoa. Utilizing opiates at a 3 times higher rate than the general public? Wait a minute, guys. 3 times the rate of the general public. That's scary. The NFL and CBD. Let's continue. So, I got some quotations, some quotes from some former football athletes and the commissioner themselves, right? And this is what they're saying. Commissioner Roger Goodell. To date, the league's medical advisors haven't said this is a change we think you should make that's in the best interest of the health and safety of our players. If they do, we're certainly going to consider that. Let me say that again for y'all. This is what the commissioner said about NFL. The commissioner of the NFL, this is what he said about CBD use. To date, the league's medical advisors haven't said this is a change we think you should make that's in the best interest of the health and safety of our players. If they do, we're certainly going to consider that. That's deep, right? That's deep. It's key. There's a key phrase here. Listen to what I'm saying. To date, the league's medical advisors, which is the doctors that advise Commissioner Roger Goodell what can and can't be tested. I'm going to keep going. Haven't said this is a change we think you should make. So because the advisors said that this is a change that they should not make, he's not going to put it on the table until they advise him that this is a change he's going to make, right? So, you know, that's kind of crazy. So let's listen to some former NFL players on that standpoint, right? So undeterred by the NFL's official stance, former NFL players like Eugene Monroe, Jake Plummer, Jim McMahon, Ebenezer Akuban, and even Joe Montana, they're speaking out in favor of removing the marijuana law from the NFL banned substance list. Because if a player is using CBD and he gets tested and it comes back as tested for CBD, he's going to get violated. He'll get suspended or whatever their drug policy is. And you know the sad part about it is CBD is not even a drug that deters the body or makes your body go in certain ways like these hardcore drugs. But let's not talk about that either, right? So, Joe Montana, Hall of Fame quarterback, this is what he says about this. Legalization is picking up steam on a global level, and I feel like now is the time to spread information about the curing capabilities of this plant. Joe Montana, former NFL player, talking, stating that. Eugene Monroe, former offensive tackle. It's time for the NFL to change its archaic standards to better protect its players. For too long, I watched my teammates and good friends battle with opiate addiction and leave the game with a long road still ahead. It's time to make a change. Look at these NFL players, ladies and gentlemen, that committed suicide because they were so deficient on opiates, and then guess what? They tried to go cold turkey, and they had other things that nobody... Think about that, man. Is the NFL really helping their players? Are they really standing for their players? Because if you were, you would introduce this CBD chemical into this player's body so they can get restored. And guess what? Your game will be played longer. And guess what? People's lives will be lived longer, right? But it takes a stance to do that. But you see what CBD and that stigma it has toward pro sports and what it's doing to the players. Jim McMahon, former quarterback. There's years I don't remember. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. There's years I don't remember just because I was such in a fog. Such in a fog is a medical term that we'll talk about that later on down the road. But he's telling us something, right? That's when I really started using cannabis to combat my pain. I've been an advocate for a lot of years now, and I'm not ashamed of it. See, NFL players taking a stand for what is right, and they know what's right, right? Last one, former defensive end, Ebenezer Ekubon. I think in due time, the NFL is going to realize that CBD is not a performance-enhancing drug. If anything, it helps with anxiety, helps with concentration, and it helps with pain. Guess what? Studies shown that CBD does help with regaining your memory. CBD does help as an anti-inflammatory. CBD does help with anxiety. You know, Chris, that's a good example. Look at Josh Gordon. Just imagine if Josh Gordon was introduced, like Chris just said, to use CBD, to get him on that regimen, to get him on that right dosage. He wouldn't have done what he did to get kicked out of a career that makes him money, right? To be a successful athlete, you have to put your body through things. And at the same time, you're going to go through things because you're on the spotlight, right? So you're going to see a lot of anxiety with athletes. What better way? What better way, guys? Right? What better way? So another sport I'm going to jump into right quick, okay, is the NBA. Because I know a lot of us watch the NBA as well, right? So a good sport, the National Basketball Association has rather strict stance on cannabis and CBD, right? So it's giving players 4 random drug screens a year, with each failed to pass, resulting in increasingly severe consequences. That's with everybody, right? Surprisingly, David Stern, the former NBA commissioner from 84 to 2014, who pretty much notoriously tightened regulations on cannabis use, he's the guy that tightened the regulations on the CBD use. And then he comes back and says something. How about that? That's crazy. So, recently stated that medical marijuana should probably be removed from the banned substance list. My guy, you're the same guy that banned it back in the day, and now you telling people to unban it. Make up your mind. Okay, moving forward in life. And you're absolutely right, Chris. They go through an 82-game season, but here's the catch. They fly. They practice every day. So their bodies are getting torn up left and right, and they have a regular workout regimen. So when you use certain muscles of your body, it breaks down. You got to build that back up. What not better use, What not better use, right? Like I said, there's a lot athletes go through to get this particular thing. And I just want to reach out to you guys to show you that, you know what? Why can't we reach out to the athletes and help them get what they need to do, right? CBD movement. So, here's a quote from David Stern. If you told the fans that if the players rubbed it, meaning the creams, on their knees that they wouldn't take a night off, that would really send it over the top. Huh? What? Wait, huh? What? If we what? Okay, that's how much education is about CBD, and this is why we have these talks, because we want people to understand and see the value and see the value of the information that you can get. Use them as golden nuggets to your people, right? So guess what? Unfortunately, this change in heart hasn't led to lifting any restrictions on cannabis for certain players, unfortunately. Former power forward, true fact, Al Harrington owns a medical marijuana business in 3 states and has spoken to the NBA PA, who's pretty much the Players Association Union president, Chris Paul, about the possibility of removing CBD as a banned substance. So it's in the makes, but it may not get there, right? And guess what? The next collective bargaining agreement, just like the NFL, for the NBA is in 2023 and 2024. Look how many, that's a lot of lives, guys. But you know what? Like a basketball player said, there's a difference between recreational and medicinal, right? A Vicodin or a Percocet, that's very, very addictive. Just because we're NBA athletes, we're not superhumans. And he makes sense. These athletes aren't superhuman, guys. These are human beings just like us. The only difference is they play a sport. And we go out here and talk to people about CBD. That's the only difference. That's the only difference, guys. And so we're starting to see a trend in athletes and seeing a trend in what they're starting to believe in the CBD industry, right? There's many, like I said today, it's a lot of things that it can help. I hope everybody's back. My bad. Um, so it's crazy though, because you're right, Chris. Let's use that example. So you pay for $100 ticket to go see James Harden play, and he doesn't even play that night because he's hurt. When that could have all been avoided if we did what? Exactly. Better recovery with CBD. It could have kept him physically ready to perform. And that's what we want. That's what we want to educate you guys and educate these athletes. So let me go back, and I just gave you some facts about the benefits of CBD for athletes and what athletes are going through in certain ailments. And I hope you guys really took heed to that. So just to go over it again, what are the benefits for CBD for athletes? It benefits the pain, the inflammation, the sleep and relaxation after a hard day, the decreasing in nausea when you overwork yourself, the reduction of muscle spasms to avoid those Charlie horses at night, or to avoid when you get up in the morning and you don't have any aches, especially increasing your appetite, because when you work out, you lose carbs and proteins. You got to get that back into your body, right? And protection of your heart, lung, and brain. That is more important than anything in life, ladies and gentlemen. So you see some of the benefits for CBD. Do you see how athletes in the sports world is starting to make a change and make a difference? Um, it starts here, guys. It starts here. It starts here, us educating those people to reach out to those people, to talk to those people. Those are 3 groups of people that I just went past, right? That's what we want to do. We want to educate everybody out here today, guys. And I hope that today you guys learned a little something about athletes and CBD and the sports world and how it all comes together as one. We have athletes turning away from painkillers and opiates and taking the natural supplement to help their body. That's what we want, guys. That's what we want. Me being an athlete, if I would have known what I know now when I played ball, I may be playing ball to this day, right? But I didn't. I went the old route, right? So, anybody out there that has kids that are athletes or knows of friends of family that have athletes, listen, guys, the creams help. The creams help. especially when your daughter or son come from practice and they take a shower and their body's aching. Instead of giving them chemicals, them opiate chemicals, hey, give them some oil drops. Hey, put some cream on them. Let's do it the natural way. Let the body take care of itself without being manipulated by these other chemicals that we saw for a fact today is the 15th most leading cause of death in America. That's a big number. That's a real big number, guys. Real big number. And what's going on, Ron? Welcome to the show. So, hopefully, something that was said today um, piques your interest. But I will let you guys know that this is only part one. I've only given you just the prelude of what really we're going to talk about. Today, like I said, we went over the benefits of CBD with athletes. We went over the facts of how NSAIDs are offered to athletes as supplements to ease their pain. And we also see that NSAIDs is the 15th most leading cause of death in America. And that's sad. That's crazy. Pain medication killing you. We also talked about how CBD is trying to get into the NFL and get into the NBA to help our athletes out. We talked about how CBD helps the veteran athletes that are gone from the game but are still feeling those aches and pains, right? Also, guys, I want you guys to understand that this is a supplement that, if used properly, can take care of your body properly. Understand that, guys. Understand that. With any other things to say, anybody got some comments? Anybody got some questions regarding the topics that we were talking about today? Let me know. I'm here. Let me know what's going on. I also want to appreciate everybody that came in today and looked at the live. I appreciate that. Greatly appreciate it. I want to put a big shout out to Latasha Johnson, to Terry Lidge, to Michael Davis, and to you guys, the CBD movement team. Big shout out to all y'all. Without y'all, we wouldn't be here. So we really appreciate you guys. And, before I head out, I see if nobody says anything. You guys get ready for another one in store in about an hour and 15 minutes. We got another one in store, guys. Our own Terry Lidge and Michael Davis coming to the mic, to the live, CBD Talk Live, introducing you guys to pets and the products of pets for CBD. How about that, huh? Something to think about, because everybody has pets. We all know somebody that has pets, right? So come on down. 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We got another show coming through. All right. I hope you guys loved the show today. Please give me some feedback. Let me know what I did and what I didn't do. Like I said, I'm here for you guys. All right. Without further ado, one love. Doc is out.